Welcome back to One Last Turn, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, where last time we started our series where we want to get all the products for all the cities, like all the products that they're asking for, we want to get it to all of the cities. And it's gonna be glorious. It's what's called, I forgot to mention this in the last episode, but it's what's colloquially called with the Transport Fever community as an EPEC, all products every city, or every product every city. Uh, Very interesting concept. We got started with a money line. We got ships running from Ashton-under-Lyne forest, well, trucks down to the harbor, but we're taking the wood from the forest and going all the way down here to Kingsland port with the wood, turn that into planks together with some feeder forest here because planks is 2 logs, and then we can take those planks pretty instantaneously across the river to the tools factory. Then a little ways up the way on our way back, there's actually an iron mine that we take to the steel mill that's also on the way. So we are kind of utilizing the backwards trip so that we are actually only running dry on maybe like half of the backwards trip, a little less, so only like 30% or something like that in total, 25 to 30%, and that's really good. That's really what's giving us these good profits, and has gotten us over the $0 valuation. You can see this is while we were building, and then we started the line and we expanded with multiple ships, and now it's functioning really well. It could probably take some more ships, but for now we're gonna leave it at that. We want to work on Corby because we want to get started with this mission of ours. And last time we found out that Corby is a good candidate. It has a quarry right here, and we even set it up a little bit. The line here, it's even actually making a little bit of money, so that is really nice. We can just follow along, see how this affects Corby, but I can almost guarantee you right now that we are going to want more. So I think I want to triple the amount of vehicles on this line. That should increase the amount. You can see the rate here is now 42 and it's asking for 29, so that should be much better. Now, what do we do after we do this? We kind of want to stay in the same area so we don't spread ourselves too thinly. It would be best if we could like reuse infrastructure as much as possible for multiple lines, but we're missing a farm, or not a farm but a processing plant to get food here to Corby. But one thing we can set up is we can set up a passenger line, train line from Wendover and to Corby. I think that would be really good. Wendover has a good populace, so it's gonna allow both cities to really expand and grow. And it also, I would imagine there would be a decent amount of demand for such a line. The only thing that's annoying is that Wendover, the residential district, is sort of facing away from Colby, while the residential in Corby is facing the good direction, if you may. So we gotta take care of that somehow. But yeah, I want to set up that passenger line. I think that will be good for us while we sort of wait for the opportunity to sort of expand. Maybe something pops up somewhere else, maybe it pops up here, maybe we'll just find somewhere else where it makes sense. One other thing we can also do if we set up this train station is that we can get the bricks down to Wendover as well. Maybe we can do some sort of hybrid passengers one way or both ways, and then also getting the bricks down to Wendover, so it's not so much of a tax there, but we will take a look. Let's start by building a passenger station. We also want to keep in mind that probably we want this train to continue. We probably wanted to go to Halstead. We probably wanted to go Boroughbridge, even though there is some mountainous terrain here, so that is a maybe. But I think it makes sense to sort of position it like this, a little bit out of the city, so the city can still expand a little bit towards it, but also in a way that going west we can turn north, and going east we can turn either south or north. We don't lock ourselves too much. So if we place it here, then I think we are pretty solid, and then we just need to expand the road down to the station so that some of the residentials are at least covered, and then we can get some sort of bus system for the rest, feeding passengers in, taking passengers off. So that is our Wendover station, and then we are at Corby, and we probably eventually want that train to continue up to South Cave. That probably makes the most sense. So we probably want the station to be somewhere around here. Ooh, and that is right on a hill, is it not? That is very unfortunate. So maybe we don't want it to be there. Maybe we want it to be a little bit outside of the city, so we can sort of still allow the city to grow. We'll have to have a bus service, or maybe we can have it on this side here. I just don't want to terraform it too much. This is probably a decent enough spot. A little bit ways away. From the city center and the residential zone, but yeah, nobody is affected, so we would need some kind of bus service, but that is fine. We'll figure that out. We're gonna lay our tracks. We could just try and go like this. It's not gonna work though. So what I'm thinking is we wanna probably follow the road a little bit, but we also wanna make sure we don't stifle our speed too much. We'll take it in turns. Don't want too much of the terrain, so I think we should cross over here where it seems to be a little bit more flat. Can we sort of get a is gonna be how we do it. And it is, I mean, there is some ups and downs, so we need a rather strong train. Okay, we're cutting a little bit through, so maybe it's probably just unavoidable. That should do it. And then the question is just, did we build a terrible road, railroad, or is it actually okay? Now this doesn't allow trains to pass each other. We're gonna need a second set of tracks. And I forgot to add those to the stations. When you build a station here, you can actually select the amount of tracks. You can also select the length, but it's recommended to keep it at the 160 meters at least initially. But if you know that you're gonna have a 2-track train, then it makes sense to try and sort of build the stations with that in mind from the beginning. Luckily, expanding tracks is really neat. When you do it next to an existing track, it follows the curves really nicely and doesn't give you too many issues. Now let's see. So we're at about only 500k, 600k in tracks. That's not so bad. Let's just make a line really easy. It's Corby or Wendover Corby. Let's have that be this cool green color, and now we need a train. Train depot. We can have it like here or something. We just need to get it on the tracks. Going into the station. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that this runs entirely on track 1. So, and you might be tempted to be like, okay, I'll just add Wendover as another one on another track, but you can't actually do that. What you want to do is you want to set up track crossings, and you want to set up signaling. Potentially, signaling isn't always necessary, but you at least want to set up track crossings so that your trains can cross between the tracks. And what I'm trying to get at here is I would like for the track to still have like the good temperature going out of the station, but it's not actually that necessary when you think about it. Aim for like 80, I would say, because it takes a while for the train to get up to speed anyway, so I don't think it's not that. What is going on here? So yeah, just trying to aim for nothing below 80, but you can probably also do like 60 or something. Especially here in the beginning, it really doesn't matter. The trains can't do any faster than 40 anyways, so yeah. And here we are, I think unfortunately a bit too close to the crossing. So we can either do 50 or we'll have to do it on the other side of the crossing. I think I'm just gonna go on the other side of the crossing. Here we go. Now if we look at the line here, it's still the same. So we might need to set up some signals that sort of like says and pardon me, it's been a little while, but we want some signals that says that it's basically it's okay to go this way. You can also use sort of waypoints. So we want signals regular traffic, right? So when we have a signal here, the way it works is when you have a signal, let's say we have a signal where do we want it? Probably let's put it here at the end of the railway crossing. So we have a signal here. That means that if there is a train on the path after the signal, then a train can't enter that path, right? So if we have a signal here, it's gonna stop anybody from entering all of this path. Now the way that you sort of fix this is you want to no, not that. You want to put multiple signals along your path that sort of fits with the spacing of your train. That is, I feel like there's supposed to be like a sort of like a shortcut that you can hold down and drag them, and then it makes multiple. That might be a mod though, I'm not sure. So I will just place a few signals along our route here. You probably also want them to be sort of close to your crossings. Now, so that is for one way. This should mean that we will utilize the other track, but we have put this signal in a way that doesn't allow that to happen properly, because we can't cross back over until after here, right? Then we would have to swap these around, because we aren't coming into track number 2 here. We'll always come into track number 1. So this is just a way that we can sort of force people or the trains to go in the directions that we want. It's also obviously a way to avoid collisions and stuff like that. and I'll just place them on the same side. As you can see, if I'm on the outer edge here, I'm going one way, inner edge I'm going the other way. So that's how I am sort of positioning them. Now our line should be, we were still not utilizing number or the second track, and we could have avoided or skipped building it. I just added it because it makes it a little bit easier to build track number 2 here, but also because we'll probably need it in the future, because what we can do is we can configure to have platforms on the other side as well, and then we can sort of utilize both platforms and have multiple trains departing for different places and stuff like that. But that is our train line there. Let's buy a train. We're doing passengers. Only thing we can do is this coach car here. So let's add a bunch of those. 30 capacity seems to be good. We don't get too slow on medium, which means when there's medium slopes, and we definitely have some slopage. Speed on high is quite low, and I'm not sure if we're hitting those. So we might, let's start with 30 and we can see how slow the train ends up going. But yeah, this is also a million. Trains are expensive. Unable to find a path to the stop. Right, because we are going in to track 2 here. So let's think the easy way to do this is to expand the platforms. And on line here we can say in Wendover we want to use both tracks, so whichever is available, that should mean we can put in this train because it will just go in train track number 2. Additionally, we could have redone the tracks and put it into number 1, but this is also very, very good. Now we want bus feeder lines, most particularly here up in Wendover, because only these 2 houses are actually affected. But while we're at it, let's just check Wendover, and holy, that city has grown fast, right? We're on 29 out of 48 in this bricks. That brings us a plus 60%. We were under 100, now we're at 150 or 160. Very, very nice population growth. The materials are consistently making like 30k profit, 20, 30k, something like that. Very good. So yeah, those are little sidetrack. We want a bus stop. Some pickup from the residential buildings mostly, but probably wanted to sort of circle around. If we take a stop that's located on this side, we get most of the town actually. It seems to be a good road, and then we can get the rest of the town if we make a stop there. And that makes for a little and we can't use the train station. So we gotta add a stop down here as well. That is not an issue though. Add Park Road here. Probably wanted to, oh, you know what, let's start up there at School Lane and then the green, and then we'll end down a park road. That seems very fine to me. And we have a road depot here. It's gonna take a little time for the coaches. Let's just start with 3, I think. And before they make it up to line 1, which should be named, obviously. And we want to call it Wendover Station Feeder. Then we know what it is. And we want to do something similar down here in Wendover. Oh, did I call it Wendover? It's supposed to be Corby. There we go, Corby Station Feeder, and we want to do something similar here. We want to get... we can pretty much get all the residentials if we let it go here. And then we'll just have one down here as well. Short little line, 2 stops. And that will be the Wendover Station Feeder. We'll go for the same color for the feeder there. There we go. And that obviously needs some stagecoaches as well. So we have a sort of like a commercial industrial area over here. I think that makes perfect sense to add a road depot here then. That should give us, let's go for 2. It's a shorter route. We'll go for 2 on the Wendover Station Feeder. Let's see about our train. It's running at a loss and without any passengers currently. No people at the station, but that should hopefully change eventually. Let's look at our balance. It is going... It is going down a bit, but also upwards a little bit again, so... So we'll have to see once the feeder buses come into play. What we can do is we can change the loading logic here to full load, if any, on both of the stations. Yeah, let's see if we can't hopefully turn a profit, or at least just help with the transportation part and let these cities grow even further. It seems like we're about 38 on this construction material, while the rate is 45. So we aren't completely satisfying the supply in Corby. And if we want to expand the train, that's another part of this. Trains being very nice. Now we have the setup. We just need to add some cargo platforms, and we need to add a new train, and then we can actually transport the cargo to Wendover as well. Let's increase the amount of cars that run here. Let's start with 4 more and see how that goes. And hopefully soon the train will... It doesn't have to be completely profitable, but just not lose this much money. Right now it's at 150k per year, and I think that matches pretty much what we're gaining on our trains, no, on our ships. So it would be a shame if that just completely evaporates. But we have a passenger here, and it does take a little bit of time in order for like this sort of transportation to really get going, because they sort of need to, the simulation sort of needs to figure out, okay, what is actually happening. And we could for sure have saved ourselves some money and only gone with one set of train tracks, because currently we're only running one relatively small train, so we could have done maybe some sort of layover tracks so they could cross each other at certain points if we really were worried, instead of having this sort of bigger investment. But I feel like we're gonna have good use of this train line in the future, so I am not too worried there. Destination the green, destination Park Road. Okay, nobody wants to go to Wendover. Cool. But we have 8 people here waiting to go to Corby. Another thing is, I mean, we have quite a lot of carts so we are doing 20 passengers, or we want to do 20 passengers at least. So we'll see if these cities can actually support that at this point in time. Yeah, we are sort of flat here, but now, I mean, the way that we set up the line means that since there was passengers, I mean, full of any, since there were passengers, it's now gonna wait the full amount of time, which is those 3 minutes before it takes off. That's good for later, probably. It might not make much sense now, but then again, we did get 3 extra passengers, and we might wanna increase the amount of carts here. Speaking of cars, how is the age or the condition on our stuff? We do have a few. Let's go to the vehicle manager. Want to look at them all. The condition, we have a few that are very bad and some that are bad. I think we should do some replacements. That is definitely gonna be felt. We don't really have the money either currently. Let's start with just the ones from Eton Logs then. There's a few good ones we don't. Well, maybe let's just do them all at once. That way we'll be taken care of. And then we gotta make sure that coal gets upgraded as well, once we have the money. Okay, this train is sitting here forever. It should have a max stop time of 3 minutes. I'm just gonna change it to load if available. Because I don't want it to sit there for forever waiting to get full. At this point, it's just not gonna make any sense. But we definitely have interest for going to Corby from Wendover. So that's really good. Let's speed up here and see. I mean, obviously we are pretty much in the red right now, but let's see how much money. It is a little bit of a trek up to Corby, so I'm not I do think we'll get some money back, and we have 7 people waiting to go the other way, so that is pretty decent as well. Let's just see. How a half full train pays, and then we'll hope as the time goes on that the traffic increases a little bit. We can probably increase the feeder bus routes to have some more traffic as well, if that is anything. But let's see here. 48k, okay. Okay, not exactly as hoped. That means it's 80k when we're full, which means that it needs to make this trip back and forth in a year. Let's see how long does it take. We're in October. Actually, maybe we can even see it here. The frequency, the approximate annual throughput. Oh, not in a year, but in a quarter. So we were in October, end of October. So it seems like it's probably about a month. So if we get full, I mean, we are full right now, going back, that's going to be good. I do think we're going to turn a slight profit on the train itself. And then the railroad is another question. It's going to be about 115k loss, but hopefully we can expand it with goods. In the future, and that will alleviate some of that. Yeah, so it's about a little bit over a month each way, it seems. So this income should be possible to reach a little bit profit. That is good to know. The question is just whether or not Corby here will catch up. But yeah, so far so good. We have some passenger lines, and we have Corby expanding for sure. It's becoming quite a big city of over 100 extra residents. I think at least close to over 100 extra residents since we started building on it. And next up is getting the construction materials down to Wendover. Sorry about the jump cut. Had to take a little break, and it's actually the next day for me now. But let's get the construction materials set up to go down to Wendover. A lot of small parts involved in that project, but we will get them going. First of all, we need to set up a truck unloading stop, but really what we want is we want to make a road, because we don't want to have to go through the city. We just want to go to the station. So let's see if we can't get a road in down here. And the reason why I'm dragging like this small instead of one long road is because there's quite the hill, so it will be very costly to dig out all that terrain. Instead, let's just go with the hill, because we'll be going in a loop this way, so it'll be going downhill. Obviously there's a bit of an uphill here, but we can't do anything about that, except for maybe creating like a detour route around here, but it is how it is. And then we just need to connect it on this side as well. There we go. And now if we put up a unload stop, we can just get it. Let's just get it close to here, to the station. It doesn't matter. There's not going to be other traffic really. That means we can set up a new line. And why a new line and not just the existing line, you say? Well, the existing line has to go all the way in through Corby, and we sort of want to avoid that if we can at all. So this will be Corby station cargo feeder. Maybe it's Conmat's feeder. Okay. Another thing that we want to do, if we look at the lines, we can see our Conmat's line really occupies, with this new line here, it sort of occupies this a lot of the same stretch of road as the bus. So we're creating a lot of midtown traffic, and this is all residential buildings. We can see here we have good emissions, but if we want to see if we can get rid of that. So let's create some waypoints that takes the trucks up this way and down this way on the Conmat's line. So before Windsor Road, we'll add this waypoint as a station, and after Windsor Road, we'll add this waypoint as a station. And now we aren't really occupying the same sort of space as much, at least, and that is good. That will alleviate some of those issues. Whoops, let's put time back, and we might as well just get a few vehicles for the Conmat's feeder line here, both because we are gonna get some money by taking rocks here, and I can see we probably want to extend this platform. Still slightly overloaded, but only by one, so hopefully that will sort of sort itself out. And these are on two different terminals. It's good. And they aren't on two different terminals here, but I would like them to be. Now, in order for construction materials to actually be constructed on this line, we need to have pressure all the way from the consumer. So let's go down to the consumer and set up that pressure. We want to get our construction materials to all of the ones that need it. And if we can sort of avoid... it doesn't... This should be fine. But we want to be on this road where it's only industrial. And it does hit all of the spots that are requesting it, so that's good. And then we are going to need a truck station down here by the... by the train station, because we can't connect truck with truck. So let's get a road set up. That way we can actually, or can we put it all the way over here? No, we need a connecting road. So let's make sure that we get that. And then we need our truck. We can actually put it up here. I think I want to put it here though, just to allow for a little bit more expansion in Wendover City itself. And then we will make our line Wendover cargo delivery. And the reason why I'm calling it cargo is because technically we could have anything come in on this set of train tracks or on this station, and it would be delivered. So let's get a few vehicles running on cargo delivery. So now we just need to connect our stations, but first we need this to be cargo. There we go. Now we have cargo here, and we have not cargo up here, but we can make cargo. Ooh, and we're out of money. Let's just borrow $500,000 instead of having to wait. So we have cargo on both now. Let's set up a line that goes from the cargo terminal to the cargo terminal, and we can see that it goes on the right track. It shares the tracks with the passenger train, and then when it gets down here it also goes on the right track. Cool, very cool indeed. And of course the reason why we had passenger here was to avoid having to do all sorts of weird stuff with tracks to get our train to go on the passenger line. This should be all good now. So now we just need a train, really, and we should take a look at our existing train and see. Let's just speed up time so we can follow it along the tracks. But I have an inkling of a feeling that we're pretty flat terrain-wise, so I think it just goes top speed or a low incline speed, which means it can go the full 40. And it also means we don't have to care about what medium incline looks like on the speed when we buy the train. So yeah, it was 40 all the way there, so let's see if it's 40 on the way back as well. Obviously it needs some ramp up time. That is completely reasonable. Let's see if it dips below 40. And a secondary reason for looking at this obviously is also for some time to pass so we can earn a bit of money so we can actually buy our train. It's gonna be a little bit expensive, so we definitely want to save up a bit of money. How is the finances looking? Slightly profitable, exactly what we were expecting and hoping for. And it went 40 all the way. We have quite a bit of pressure on the buses. We only have 3. Maybe let's get 2 more buses here in stagecoaches here in Corby Station Feeder. And if we take a look at our Corby Station construction materials, they are running the stone, but there's no pressure here on the construction materials yet. So we really need to get the train in order for that to happen. Let's take a look at what such a train might cost. We obviously need a locomotive, and then we need this one for construction materials, flat car with side stakes. And with 24 capacity, this is what I meant with speeds, with medium and flat and stuff like that. It did 40 all the way. And this is about the same weight we have on our passenger train, which means that it wasn't dipping into the medium. So really for the cargo train here, we just need to look at the flat speed, and we don't want that to dip below 40. Obviously, we don't want the power here to dip below mediocre either, because even though it says flat is 40, when it dips below mediocre, it starts getting a little bit iffy, and at least it might have a hard time like starting the train, getting it up to speed in the beginning and stuff like that. So we still want to be aware of not putting too much stuff on. We've become poor there. Another thing we want to take into account is the length of our stations. They're 180 long, so that shouldn't be an issue. But I mean, 1.6 million, quite the expense. So we are just a little bit shy on that. While we wait, I mean, we could also take a loan, but while we wait, let's take a look around. Some industries have been opening and closing. Let's take a little look around in the immediate vicinity and see if there's anything that might be worth looking into. We still have the possibility of food here, but it is just a long way to Corby. We have a farm closing here. Forest number 4. That's brilliant. How is our ships doing actually? They're 3 years old. This one is at least, this is number 1. How old is that? That's 6 years, okay. So it's in mediocre condition. We might need to replace it soon-ish. There's also some vehicles, like some road vehicles that are in bad condition. I think I'm gonna wait until they become very bad. Yeah. So here at Buxton, it's too far of a backtrack without anything for the fuel line. And nothing really here. How about here? Again, there's... If these had been switched, then I think we could have justified it a little better. I mean, this is there's a pretty decent stretch from the oil refinery to the fuel refinery, but that's carrying money. So this just increases the profit on that. There is some hills, but I actually think that we can avoid like the majority of... No, there's some hills here as well. So there is some hilly terrain. It is quite a big investment to get started, I think, but I think it would be pretty profitable this, because this is the short distance that it has to run without money, and we can even just set up a truck stop for delivering the fuel. So this would actually be pretty good, but probably pretty high on initial investment. But that's probably what we'll be looking at next time. That's Brothen, or however you wanna pronounce that. And I mean, money short. Also, King's Lynn still in play. It's not that long of a distance, so train might be overkill. And it's not like we can... I mean, we could set up a train route from Oldham to King's Lynn and sort of hook into the tracks here. But yeah, it's a little... It'll have to wait. I think Brothen with its oil loop is what we'll probably look at next, but for now we wanna get just a little bit, tiny bit more money so we can buy this train, start creating the pressure, and this one should probably be upgraded as well. We're at 1.8 million. That should be enough. .48 capacity. Let's get going. I think I forgot to name it. Yes, let's call it Corby Wendover Cargo. And let's just follow along this train. Yeah, it's doing 40 at this point, which is decent. Oh, that's not that train. This train. Let's see when it gets up to 40. It's obviously a little bit slower. But it does get up to 40 about 30% in, and then it should carry 30 all the way through. And this is a little bit downhill, so I think even with the cargo it should be slightly better. Faster going the other way. We have some pressure building. We have two that'll arrive here even. Let's set it to regular speed. And right now it's actually, let's pause this, update the line. At Corby we wanted to I'll just say full load all for now. It's waiting for a 3 path because they came in at the same time, and obviously it can't go until the path is clear, and I'm not sure if that's at this signal or this signal. So we might have to update the signals as well. Does seem like it's down here. Did I turn this signal the wrong way? Can I see that? No, that is the right way. It should be able to drive out here. But once this passes here, then it should go, yeah. But let's just reverse it so we can get the 2 bricks. There we go. And now we just need some more bricks to arrive. There is definitely some pressure. It's quite an expensive train though, 2.5 million. Oh, sorry, 250,000, a quarter million in costs every year, so it definitely needs to make a lot of money, and we will see if it can live up to that expectation. We can shorten the train though if necessary. Let's just speed this up a little bit. Here we go with 4. Another 4 is arriving there. Another 4 will be arriving there. I think another thing is we probably need like 8 more. Don't have the money for that. Oh, there it came. Let's get 8 more for the Conmat's feeder line. And we'll have to keep an eye on these 2 truck depots, that they are working optimally with this many trucks using them. But we are moving a little bit of construction materials down to Wendover now. That's fingers crossed, but let's see if that doesn't give us just a little bit of money. We should be able to carry 11x, so we can sort of multiply that up and see how that works out. $22. So 11x, that would be like 200 and something K, and that's about break even, right? Because it takes about a month each way. It's gonna run 250,000 in 3 months, so it's about break even. And then question is if we can make anything here. Now the optimal thing would be that this train had some sort of cars that could carry both bricks and food, and then when in Wendover it would sort of take food back to Corby. But first of all, we don't have that kind of train car, and also we don't have any food. so that's not gonna work. But it is running empty half of the way. So another thing that we might be able to try is sort of having passengers. Having passengers as well on the train. So like half passengers and half of cargo. And then maybe that could sort of make it so that it's more profitable, because then at least we'll have passengers on the way back. But the question is, I mean, if we remove half our capacity here and replace it with passengers, construction materials are clearly more expensive because we get 80k from a full train, I believe, of passengers. Okay, 150k for a full set of passengers, but we would be able to get maybe 100k. But yeah, I guess that's the same, about the same with the cargo. So we could do that. That would increase our profitability on the train a bit. Did I set this wrong? Maybe it should be full load any. It's waiting just to get its, which is fine. We should probably optimize this down here. Because if you look at this, well, both of them really, they're crossing in and then they're crossing again when they go out. And they slow down in this intersection and stuff like that, so it is a little bit towards the slow side if there are multiple. Yeah, so we might have to optimize it. It's not for certain. Okay, and our train is running here. See, with almost a little over half a load, well, like 60% of a load, how fast does it get to 40 kilometers an hour? It's quite slow at starting up. That's another thing. Can't build the pressure. I mean, it's not like we're that much in pressure here, and so we can't build the pressure. Then we should probably cut those last couple of wagons, or at least make them into just gonna do it now. It's not that realistic. Do it like mid journey, but if you were to play a little bit more realistic, I mean, maybe we'll do that at some point. Maybe we'll make a series where the goal is just to create some cool lines, not do this all product every city challenge, but to just play around, have some cool lines, but be a little bit more realistic. Don't alter trains that aren't in depots. don't have like truck stops a long way away from stuff. Basically try and be as realistic as possible. Don't terraform that much because it's not really something that you do in real life, especially not back in the day. Okay, but we financially, so far this train doesn't make any sense. Let's speed up a bit and see. We do make it to 40 at some point, but it is a bit on the slow side. How is our balance looking? I mean, it's still growing. It's dipping a little bit now with the train, but it's going okay. 160k, it's not bad. But it definitely doesn't cover the cost, right? Okay, it keeps telling me that we have some vehicles in bad condition, and we do have some in very bad condition. We have quite many actually. Let's get those taken care of, and let's just take the ones in bad condition as well. That way it's out of the way. We'll replace them. That's 750k. Oof. But I mean, that is just the cost of doing business sometimes. It shouldn't affect our valuation because the amount that we make, the amount that the vehicles cost, they equate the amount that we pay, but also the rate of decay doesn't really change, right? So the balance rate and stuff like that should not be affected. Let's look at Wendover cargo delivery. Now that there is cargo, it does make a little bit of money, but question sort of is whether or not it's enough to offset the cost of having it. But then again, we are building up Wendover now. That's also nearly a full train, or it was a full train. It does seem like it can make a delivery like once per quarter, maybe slightly more. So it is gonna be slightly in profit. Nothing too crazy though. So really the passenger train is what is really driving the profit on the railroads. And as always, our waterways is really what is making sure that we're growing. We'll see if these 2 trucks is enough. It does seem like the passengers is enough with 2 buses. But Wendover should be growing now. We are getting in a bunch of bricks. That adds a 40% growth. So it's looking to go over 200. down to 200 now because we are just about on the edge here with the construction materials. And what do we have here in Corby? Want to get to 200 with Corby as well, but it is a smaller city to begin with, so it's more difficult to sort of get up there. Now with this amount of feeders on, we are surpassing like the 32 that the train carries, so it might make sense to expand it actually a little bit. How is the Conmat station feeder line doing though? That is doing some pretty decent profits, so that's really nice. Overall, the entirety of it does pull profit, and question is just how much, right? So this is about 50k in profit, and we have like maybe 5k on the train itself, and then we have cargo delivery here, which also pulls in about 5k when it gets running, so we are about 60k in profit. Question is, does it make sense to expand this train? I don't think so. I think it would probably make more sense to get another train and have maybe even get the hybrid train that we were talking about to sort of take care of the pressure that we have for construction materials, like you see here. And this is just going to keep growing. We're just going to have a lot of construction materials lined up here. We could of course reduce the amount of cars that are bringing construction materials to the station, but that line's in profit, so there's really no point in doing that. So we really just want to move some more, and we don't want to like expand the train because it'll just take too long for it to get there compared to getting an additional train. And then we can make this hybrid train that we talked about, though we don't have any sort of platforms that sort of allows for it. So what we could do is we could take out half of the cargo platform here, or maybe just one section, and let's put it down to regular speed, sorry. We could take out one part of this cargo section, have passengers there. That would probably be a way to go about it. But I don't think we have the passenger pressure. So that is also something to take into account there. So maybe we should just make another cargo train that matches the size of this one. Maybe that is the play. Balance is going up. Let's repay that extra million that we took out. Get the interest rate down. It's not like 10k in interest is the biggest thing, but given that we are like growing our valuation at this speed still, I feel like it can definitely make sense. We might have to take out the loan in a future quarter, but then we save a couple of tens of thousands, and I am good with that. Got 46. I sort of want to wait. No, there's no need to wait. I mean, I can see it clearly. This is at 50 now. By the time that train gets up there, it's going to be over 60. So we want another train. That is for sure. That is for sure. How does this look? Looks fine. How does this look? We're producing rocks. The pressure on the quarry at least is very high. So we are just losing rocks, but that shouldn't be an issue since it's a quarry. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Let's take a look at this one actually. I think we leveled it up. If we look at another production facility like this one, it's gray in the first bar. This one is blue in the first bar, which means we leveled it up, which means that it can produce more. And that is basically, so when we increase the production, I think the limit here was 100 to begin with, and because we went to 100 and we transported so much of it, we leveled it up, and now it can produce 200 and take in 200 as well. That's another thing, is we were technically providing it. If it hadn't leveled up, we would be providing it with too much stone, and we would basically just be throwing stone away, and we could reduce the amount of vehicles that were there, but we still use those vehicles to deliver the bricks as well, so it wouldn't really have made any sense. Yeah, so this train is getting there, but as I said, this one is nearing double. Corby is nearing 200. The emission, I think we have an emission. This is emission, so there is a lot of emission coming from the train, but that is not inside the city itself. And then obviously we have emission along the roads, especially here seems to be a bit, and that is because of the drop off. I'm not sure if we can change that so much, but they are affected quite a bit. I mean, one way we could road depot by, oh, we can't. I don't think there's much we can do about that right now, at least. Maybe in the future we can be a bit more emission conscious, but yeah, right now I don't think we can do much. I mean, our value just keeps on going up, but our balance isn't following along. I think we're probably waiting on a few payday ships. I think that's it, guys. I think we'll just stop it here, and next time we will obviously expand this Wendover brick supply line, we can definitely add another train and that will sort of get the supply to. I'm wondering, maybe we can't actually put an entire, because we have quite a few bricks waiting here already, so we should be increasing this cargo delivery. Let's just get one. But that will increase the supply going in. And I don't think it will be able to. I mean, we are probably supplying like 40 something at this point, and getting an entire additional one would push it to 80. Maybe if we, I mean, we do want to get it to Boroughbridge eventually, right? If we can go through the mountains here without actually cutting through the mountains, we can get the bricks down to Boroughbridge. Then we can have a train that sort of, it delivers some to Wendover and some to Boroughbridge. We'll start with Wendover and we'll be over capacity here and initially, but yeah. We'll add another train here to for construction materials between Corby and Wendover next time, and we will look into the exciting possibility where was it? Here and at Brothen, this exciting possibility of setting up a fuel line. We just have to get through this mountain. Let's see here, how much is that? That's gonna be 2 million in itself to get through the mountain. So quite the investment. Maybe it's time that next time we up the speed a little bit of the days and we see how see what sort of new technology we are able to get, and if that can be used to increase our profits. I really just want to avoid taking out an additional $5 million dollar loan in order to get that fuel line up and running. I don't think that makes a lot of sense to me right now. So I think actually we'll stay here by Corby and Wendover. We will work towards getting South Cave some construction materials. We'll work towards getting Boroughbridge some construction materials. And maybe we'll even have to set up a tiny train line here or something, or maybe I'm just thinking that we will eventually end up congesting the city quite a bit, so maybe we need to figure out some way to avoid that down here if we are to use this quarry like we sort of plan to. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy this channel and this type of content, please subscribe. It really helps me both see that the interest is there, but also it just helps the channel in general get pushed out to more people when people like and comment and subscribe. So please do those things if you enjoyed. And as always, if you have any sort of suggestions about this game or future games that you want to see, leave them in the comments. I will look through every single one of them and maybe they'll get into a future episode. There's only just one thing left to say, and isn't that, as always, could we just have one last turn before we end? Maybe someday. Maybe someday we'll take just one last turn, but for now, we are gonna have to stay wanting. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.